Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Providence City Council meeting on February 2nd. The invocation will be given by, sorry. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Thank you.
Council President Miller.
Present.
Councilor Anderbois. Present. Councilwoman Anthony. Councilman Espinal. Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonzalez is absent. Councilwoman Graves.
Present.
Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Present.
Councilwoman Peterson. Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo. Councilor Royas. Councilwoman Ryan.
Present.
Majority Whip Sanchez.
Present.
Majority Leader Taylor.
Present.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas. Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Present.
You have 14 present and 1 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The invocation will be given by Chairwoman Anthony. Please rise.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for bringing us together as a council. Guide us to use our best judgment in making the right decisions for our citizens. Empower us to listen to our hearts, use compassion and empathy, and keep our most vulnerable citizens in the forefront of our minds. Help us to work collaboratively, honestly, and effectively as we tackle our most difficult problems. We make a special request that you keep our homeless safe and warm during the next few days of frigid weather.
The Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Councilman Espinal.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please read item 3.
Approval of minutes.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 3 and move for approval.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Item 4, Madam Clerk.
Appointments by His Honor the
Madam
Mayor.
President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the readings of items 4 through 9.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made to waive the readings of 4 through 9. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. So, Madam Clerk, please mark items 4 through 9 as received. And please read item 10.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 10.
Second.
Motion to waive the reading of item 10. Any discussion? All in favor of just waiving the reading on item 10? Please say aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? All right,
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to amend item 10 and motion to amend item 10, section 6K by striking the original text and replacing it with the current text. There will be no increase in fossil fuel infrastructure except as may be necessary and appropriate for the purpose of making improvements to already existing infrastructure to incorporate enhanced environmental and safety standards into their operations, or to support new infrastructure to facilitate the delivery of more environmental friendly fuels to port operations.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to amend item 10. I'd like to ask the solicitor to speak on both the reason and could give a brief explanation on the amendment.
Yes, so is the council's desire to ensure unequivocally that there would be no increase in fossil fuel infrastructure. The amended language replaces the originally proposed language to tighten the prohibition. So it makes it clearer that there will be no increase except for very, very limited basis. which is really just if there's some new technology that would permit them to improve environmental or safety standards in their operations. But it's very clear from this language that no new fossil fuel infrastructure tenants can be added to the property, and the existing ones cannot increase any of their fossil fuel infrastructure.
You solicitor, any discussion on the amendment? All right, at this time, I'd like,
Hold on one.
oh, yeah, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to thank our city solicitor alongside the Port representatives for working on this amendment. I understand there was concerns with the previous language, but at the same time, banning all fossil fuel infrastructure or new fossil fuel infrastructure was a big recommendation want from our local community. So I just want to thank you all for working on this.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further discussion on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to pass for the second time on a roll call vote as amended.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Chairwoman.
thank you. I'd just like to speak to this on this matter. As you will remember, the previous council and city administration tried to pass the Port bond resolution and tax exempt ordinance without meaningful public education last December. Thanks to the stakeholders, particularly those that are most impacted by the pollution in the port, with a special shout out to members of the Sustainability Commission, People's Port Authority, and the Racial and Environmental Justice Committee, incoming council members and returning council members were able to table the legislation to give everyone time to understand the issues, evaluate the resolution and tax ordinance, and most importantly, to propose amendments. Many council members took the time to go to Port, meet with Port representatives and get a better understanding of their facilities and long-term plans to become a one-stop shop for offshore development, offshore renewable energy development, and their efforts to become green marine certified to improve their environmental performance. The ordinance before you this evening is the amended tax exempt agreement. In lieu of tax payments, Port will pay 9% of their revenues, which is estimated to be between $800,000 and $1.1 million the first year. If there was no exemption of the taxes, it would be we'd receive approximately $764,000. Of the 9%, 7% will go to the general fund. 1% will be distributed to Sustainability Projects Reserve Account. We amended this agreement so that instead of the money being distributed by the Board of Park and Rec, it will be spent by the Office of Sustainability in consultation with the Sustainability Commission. The other 1% will be distributed to the Community Benefits Reserve Account, $25,000 of which will be distributed by the Ward 10 councilperson, and the rest will be spent at the direction of the Board of Park Commissioners on projects in Wards 10 and 11, which are the most impacted by the pollution in the port. More importantly, we were able to amend the ordinance to prevent new fossil fuel infrastructure, which Council Member Sanchez just referred to increase community engagement and participation in the master plan process, to add language that would require lessees to comply with federal, state, and local environmental laws, and require proactive reporting of the violations of environmental regulations. Also, we amended it to expand the language regarding sustainability projects to include air quality testing and environmental protection. While this final tax exempt agreement is not perfect, it lays the groundwork for us to continue improving the negative environmental impacts of our port while transitioning it to a major player in the clean energy economy. I want to thank, we have people here from Port. I'd like to thank Chris Waterston for his efforts on this. Bill Fisher and Bill Brody. Thank you for all your cooperation. Thank you for making us feel engaged in the process and certainly illuminating us on the workings of Prop work. So I would ask that you vote in favor of the amended ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Any further discussion? Councilman Espinal.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to express my gratitude to everyone that played a significant role in getting this to where we are today. This is the result of collaboration from Proport, the City of Providence, and of course, our community. For the first time, we have something that we can be very proud of. We have a great product before us, and this is very important to me and to my community. So on behalf of my constituent that I represent, thanks to everyone here. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council President Miller,
Aye.
Councilor Anderbaugh. Aye. Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonzalez is absent. Councilwoman Graves. Aye. Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson. Aye. Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo.
Aye.
Councilor Royas.
Proud aye.
Councilwoman Ryan. Majority Whip Sanchez. Majority Leader Taylor.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas. Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Aye.
You have 14 ayes, 1 absent. The motion carries. The matter is passed for the second time as amended.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read item 11 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 11.
Second.
Motion has been made to waive the reading. Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Madam Clerk, refer item 11 to the Committee on Finance. And please read item 12 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the readings of items 12 through 15.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made to waive the readings of 12 through 15. Any discussion? Councilman Espinal.
Thank you, Madam President.
This is a discussion on the motion to waive the reading.
I know.
All right, all in favor, please say
Thank
aye.
you.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and a majority leader.
Motion to waive the readings of item 16 through.
No,
19.
I'm sorry, sir.
Back up.
Motion to vote on 12.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Motion
that's
to
right.
pass on a voice vote.
Thank you, sir.
Second, Madam President.
So we have a motion to pass on a voice vote. Before we ask for discussion on these items, is there anyone who would like to co-sponsor any of the items, either 12 through 15? So I'll start with Councilman Vargas, if you want to just say which items.
Yes, I like to sponsor 14, 15.
Councilwoman Harris.
12, 14, and 15.
Councilman Espinal, would you like to add your name to any of these? Chairwoman. Are there any further co-sponsors? Let's just do it. How about on item 12, further co-sponsorships? Okay. And I would also like to co-sponsor item 12. Okay, so please raise your hands. We have Pro Tem Pichardo, Councilman Royas, Councilman Taylor, Councilman Sanchez, Councilwoman Peterson, Councilwoman Vargas, Councilwoman Graves, Councilman Anthony, Harris, and Vargas. On items 13, would anyone like to co-sponsor? All right, Pro Tem Pichardo, Councilman Royas, Councilman Sanchez, Councilwoman Peterson, Councilwoman Vargas, Councilwoman Graves, Councilman Anthony, Councilman Espinal, Deputy Majority Leader Harris, Councilman Vargas. And I also would like to co-sponsor all of these items. Item 14, any co-sponsors? We have Councilwoman Anderbar, Pro Tem Pichardo, full council on item 14,
Yes.
full council, yes. And item 15. Anyone like to co-sponsor on item 15? We have Pro Tem Pichardo, Majority Leader Taylor, Councilwoman Graves, Deputy Majority Leader Harris, Councilman Vargas. All right. Madam Clerk, are you ready? So we'll have a discussion on these items, please. Thank you. Councilman Espinal.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I'd just like to have Madam Clerk read item 14 into the record. And as an honor to Mr. Tyree Nichols, who lost his life to the Memphis Police Department, I'd like to ask the council member, please stand with me as we honor his life. And Madam Clerk will continue to read the resolution into the record.
Whereas every year, more than 40,000 Americans are killed with guns and approximately,
This one is number 14.
got it, sorry.
Sure.
Whereas on January 7th, 2023, 5 police officers from the Memphis Police Department severely beat 29-year-old Tyree Nichols, a Black man, during a traffic stop, resulting in his death 3 days later in the hospital. And whereas Tyree Nichols had no prior criminal record and was known to be an amazing father to his 4-year-old son and an aspiring photographer. And whereas Tyree Nichols was loved by his community and is described to be gentle, kind, and joyful. He loves skating and was originally from the Bay Area in California. And whereas the Memphis police officers participated in a pure act of violence and have displayed a horrendous abuse of the power given to them by those they were supposed to serve. And whereas, furthermore, it has been reported that other police officers were present at the scene during the beating of Mr. Nichols, and nobody intervened when Nichols pleaded for his life. And whereas, the callous disregard for Mr. Nichols' life and the refusal to intervene in such a blatant act of evil is appalling and reprehensible behavior that cannot stand in our society. And whereas police officers are tasked with protecting and serving the civilians of their jurisdiction, what the whole world witnessed in Memphis on January 7th was a disgusting act of men who completely ignored the oaths they took as law enforcement officers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Providence City Council hereby condemns the actions of the officers involved in the death of Tyree Nichols, as there is no place in a civilized society for anyone to exercise these heinous types of violence or to stand idly by when such clear acts of evil are being committed. Be it further resolved that upon passage, copies of this resolution be transmitted to the Honorable Mayor of Providence.
Thank you for joining me in this honor. May he rest in peace, and may we learn as a society to do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Further discussion on items 12 through 15?
Madam President,
Councilman Anderbar.
thank you so much. I'd like to speak on item 12 and a little bit on item 13. But for item 12, I just want to say thank you. I'm so excited that we are launching a special committee on the environment and resiliency. As we all know, we're at a pivotal moment here in Providence. Climate change is real and it's urgent. While it's global in its effects, we are already feeling the effects here in Providence, both the impacts of things like more intense storms, but also through the unequal burdens of pollution that we've already seen borne by many of our residents, particularly our residents of color. We already just discussed a lot of what's happening in the Port of Providence and the surrounding neighborhoods. At the same time, we're also dealing with a lot of pollution from our past. We have contaminated soils, lead pipes, and so much more. But we have real opportunities at this point to actually act. We have large amounts of federal funding available for cities just like ours for needed upgrades in our infrastructure, our school buildings and things like that. We could be growing good green jobs in industries like offshore wind at the Port of Providence. And I think they already left, but was excited about that. And I have it in my lap because I like a good prop, but we already have the climate justice plan, which was developed with community in partnership between the community and the city. Council President, the Honorable Mayor, Councilwoman Anthony and I attended a briefing yesterday from the Sustainability Commission and the Racial and Environmental Justice Committee about their continued commitment to the climate justice plan and seeing it implemented in the city of Providence. We don't need to recreate the wheel. We just need to act. And I, for one, am tired of hearing people talk without action. So I'm really excited to be getting this committee off the ground and running, and that we have the opportunity to bring really good change and impacts for our residents across the city. So thank you so much for your support on this. And briefly for item 13, I really just want to thank Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense, and particularly I think Val is here today, who brought this resolution to us. We need to condemn gun violence in all forms and support the survivors of gun violence in our communities. And unfortunately, there are so many survivors of gun violence in our communities. And that's not just the folks who have experienced violence themselves, but have witnessed it in our communities. So thank you so much for your support of this resolution.
Thank you. Further discussion, items 12 through 15? No further discussion. All in favor of items 12 through 15, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Madam Clerk, please read item 16 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the readings of items 16 through 19.
Second, Madam President.
All in favor of waiving items 16 through 19?
Aye.
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 Discussion on waiving the reading, Councilwoman? All right. Any opposed on waiving the readings of items 16 through 19? All right, Madam Clerk, please refer items 16 through 18 to the Special Committee on Legislative Affairs, and item 19 to Committee on Urban Redevelopment, Renewal and Planning. Councilwoman Graves. You turn on your mic, Councilwoman, just press the button. Thank you.
I just would like to thank the Chavez Committee group for being here. They brought this to my attention. We want to honor him because it's going to be Chavez, because it's 30 years of his death will be in April. And we just think that, I think that because he was such a wonderful civil rights leader that did so much for the farmers, the working farmers and stuff, that it's a pleasure for us to be in an honor for us to honor him. And considering we're one of the few people in this area and the Northeast to have a statue of him in our city, I think that's another thing that we need to educate, because a lot of people don't even know we have them. I was hoping that one of the ladies could read off the resolution. That's okay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Whereas a first-generation American, Cesar Chavez, was born on March 31st, 1927, near his family's small homestead outside Yuma, Arizona. And whereas at age 11, his family lost their farm during the Great Depression and became migrant farm workers. And whereas Cesar Chavez finished his formal education after the 8th grade and worked the fields full-time to help support his family. Throughout his youth and into adulthood, Chavez traveled the migrant streams throughout California, laboring in the fields, orchards, and vineyards, where he was exposed to the hardships and injustices of farm worker life. And whereas Cesar Chavez joined the U.S. Navy in 1946 in the aftermath of World War II and served in the Western Pacific. He returned from the service in 1948 to marry Helen Fabella, whom he met while working in the fields. And whereas Cesar Chavez's career in community organizing began in 1952 when he was recruited and trained by Fred Ross, a legendary community organizer who was forming the San Jose chapter of the Community Service Organization, the most prominent Latino civil rights group of its time. And whereas Chavez spent 10 years with the CSO, coordinating voter registration and get out the vote drives, leading campaigns against racial and economic discrimination, and organizing new CSO chapters across California. And whereas Chavez's dream was to organize a union that would protect and serve the farm workers whose poverty and powerlessness he had shared. He knew the history of farm working organization was one sad story after another of broken unions and strikes crushed by violence. And whereas Cesar Chavez was a civil rights, Latino, and farm labor leader, a genuinely religious and spiritual figure, a community organizer and social entrepreneur, a champion of militant nonviolent social change, and a crusader for the environment and consumer rights. And whereas the Providence City Council wishes to establish a ceremonial designation along Raymond Street in Ward 12 as a fitting tribute to the life, work, and legacy of Cesar Chavez. Now therefore be it resolved that the Providence City Council does hereby request that the Department of Public Works and the traffic engineer work to manufacture, install, and maintain one or more ceremonial signs at prominent and appropriate locations which shall reflect the Cesar Chavez Memorial Way ceremonial designation.
I'd like to show this. This is a picture of Chavez. Gentleman over there, Julio, if he could stand up. Like if anybody would want to, would sign the back of the portrait. I would love for all of my colleagues to sign it because I think it just shows that we want to honor and respect those that came before us.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Sanchez.
Thank you, President. First of all, I just want to thank Councilwoman Graves for introducing this ordinance, and most importantly, our community members, Julio Argon, who has been championing the recognition for Cesar Chavez. As a fellow Mexican American growing up, Cesar Chavez played a big role in my household, in my identity, for what he stood for. So I was gonna read a short bio on who he is, but since we've read the resolution, I'll bypass that for us for now. But I just want to share one of my favorite quotes from the legend Cesar Chavez. Once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. If there's no objection from the sponsor, I would like to be listed as a co-sponsor on this matter. And I would also like to thank the community members that worked so hard to make sure that this appropriate memorial move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Reyes, do you still want to speak?
Like Councilwoman Ryan, I too would like to co-sponsor this resolution.
Any other co-sponsors? All right, we've got, is that the full council? Yes, it is, and myself as well. Thank you.
And the
Thank you.
Resolution, Madam President.
President Pro Tem.
Yes, if I may, thank you, Councilwoman Grace, for putting this forward, and also to our member, Julio Cesar Aragon. I will be remiss also to recognize the past contribution to the memory of Cesar Chavez. As we know, we can't do it always alone. He was always accompanied by Dolores Huerta, a strong woman and a good group of people that even came through Rhode Island. And we were fortunate enough, and I was fortunate enough to serve with some colleagues that during those times as Latinos were becoming a greater voice, that stepped up and really helped put this statue across the street from Nathaniel Green. And I got to give credit where credit is due, and that is Councilman Terry Hassett, along with Senator Goodwin. So we are that much richer in culture by having that statue as a reminder that the struggle continues and that is never easy. And so thank you to all of us to really continue to champion those who come before us and know that every day is a struggle and that we must continue with the progress. Thank you.
Thank you. No further discussion on this item. Moving on, Madam Clerk, please read item 20 into the record.
Madam President.
Majority Leader Taylor.
Motion to waive the readings of items 20 through 22 and pass on a voice vote and refer back to Board of Contract and Supply.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and any abstentions? All right, please refer back items 20 through 22 to the Board of Contract and Supply. Madam Clerk, please read item 23.
Madam President.
Majority Leader Taylor.
Motion to waive the readings of items 20 through 28 and receive and approve.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made. Any discussion on this motion? Councilwoman Graves.
Okay, I have a discussion on 20, said 25 or 26?
23 through 28.
Okay, so 26, I have some concerns. 26 was the Conley. And my concerns are, we received a letter, or you received a letter from PVD Noise Project. And it made me go back and look at the Finance Committee reading, because I must confess, I did not see it. So I went back and I reviewed it. And their concern had to do with reports, which I thought could be easily resolved. So I really didn't think that much of it. But after listening to the tape, other things came up, and I'm very concerned about them. The fact that there were 8 oppositions to it was like, okay, we all know that in certain positions, we're gonna have people that are not, that's just gonna be opposed to us or upset. So I was like, okay, that doesn't sound good. It was 8 oppositions to 1. But I thought he did an excellent job of explaining some of the things away. But the other things that came up were, one was about his using his position as a lobbyist in trying to sway members of the council while they were sitting in section. That, to me, just screamed at me loudly, and I really had a problem with that one. The other one was the possibility of the appearance of him blurring the lines of following policy and like he was trying to make policy. I do not know Mr. Conley, and I do have to admit that I thought he spoke eloquently, but those thoughts really concern me. I think we have to be very careful about where we are, and transparency and appearance is going to be one of the biggest things that I'm going to always talk about. And that just did not sit well with me at all. I think that the PVD Noise Project wanted to know if the reports came in. I don't know. Did the reports that they request, did we get them in? Maybe if so, that's one problem that we can say is over with. But those other two are, like I said, are very disconcerting, and I don't know how we're going to address that. And I just wanted to bring them up.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Other discussion on items 23 through 28. Councilwoman
Madam
Ryan.
President, thank you. I'd like the record to reflect that I'm recusing myself from item 25, and I have filed the appropriate document with the clerk's office.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Other discussion, items 23 through 28? I will use my moment of privilege to tell you, Councilwoman, that we do have, let's see if this works now. Hey, thank you, sir. Okay. We did receive the 2022 report from the Board of License that's sitting in your email. We'll be receiving it in the February meeting. But any further discussion, items 23 through 28?
And
Councilwoman.
I know, me again. 25, there was a little bit of an issue with 25, and I appreciate Councilwoman Ryan recusing herself. I think one of the problems that came up in that one was her son was the one of the current, it was the person that we were entertaining or voting in, and the other one was his connections with the law firms that there might be a conflict of interest. So there was two different things in conflict of interest that came up. The other thing, like I said, transparency and perception. I know you can't, unfortunately, we don't decide what family we go into, so sometimes it's a blessing and it's a curse. I just think that the perception is bad in the fact that his mother is a renowned, well-known councilwoman, but also his dad was just elected into the Democratic, the chairperson of the Democratic ward committees. I think those really look bad, it's like we're trying to do a political dynasty. And I just think that we need to just be careful of our perception, but be careful of the appearances of things. We have to be really transparent and acknowledge that sometimes things don't look good, and it doesn't look good to me. That's one of the things that like I said, I listened to him, both men that I'm talking about, their resumes look fine, they speak out very well. I'm not questioning their credentials. I'm just questioning the perception.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there any other discussion on these items? All right. Moving forward, I'd like all in favor of items 23 through 28 to please say aye.
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 All opposed?
I oppose this.
Will you name which two, Councilwoman? Which two items for the clerk?
25 and 26.
Thank you. Any abstentions? Thank you. I'd also, I'm echoing, sorry guys. I'd just like to take a moment to congratulate the folks who are here tonight, who came through finance, had good conversations with council members. We know we've heard some things, but I just want, if everyone who was just approved could please stand up so we could thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you all so much, and I know we look forward to working with you in your capacities. Madam Clerk, please read item 29 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of items 29 through 31.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made and second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? All right.
Madam President,
Hold 1 second, Majority Leader. Madam Clerk, please refer items 29 to the Committee on Public Work, 30 and 31 as received. Majority Leader Taylor.
sorry about that.
That's all right.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to embarrass someone now. So if Abigail Appel could come up in the center here. Your 15 minutes of fame is now. So on behalf of the city council, I'd like to wish a departing staff member well as she finishes her service with us for a new opportunity. Abigail Appel has served the council for 4 years, working her way up, first as an intern and later onto the communication staff after graduating from the University of Rhode Island. Abby has been a resourceful press secretary for the past year and excelled at creating the council's newsletter, graphic designs, and other invaluable work, which I can attest for because she'll be missed. She does great work for Halloween cards and Easter eggs. She puts all the little things in when she passes out to the people. So thank you for that, and you will be missed. Abby, you will be greatly missed. And I have a citation here that reads, "Be it hereby known to all, the Providence City Council hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Abigail Appel in recognition and celebration of your new venture. We wish you the best of luck, and you'll be greatly missed. Signed on this day, 2nd day of February, by the complete president and the complete city council." And we'll come up there, get a picture.
Thank you all for that. Thank you, Councilman Vargas, and thank you, Abigail. Madam Clerk. Should I gavel us after celebration? That seems so harsh. Madam Clerk, please read item 32 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 32 and pass on a voice vote.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made to waive the reading and pass. All in favor, any discussion? Sorry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed.
And Madam President, if there's
Majority.
no further business, I'd like to adjourn in memory of former Superintendent of Schools, Joseph Almagno, on a rising vote.
Second.
Thank you, Majority Leader Taylor. Motion has been made and second. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening.
And everybody do we have a meeting? No, we don't. Have a happy Valentine's Day. We don't have a meeting before Valentine's Day, do we? 16th. So everybody have a happy Valentine's Day.